Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a good one for you this morning. What's going on with Bitcoin? We're going to get into that. MoneyGram situation's heating up a little bit, and it just gets messier. All of this stemming from the Ripple SEC lawsuit. Digital taxes globally, are they here? I think the answer is yes. R3 and XDC. What's all this talk about XDC and XDCE? We're going to cover that. And on the same day as the Fed shuts down, apparently XRP burn for transaction fees hits an all-time spike. Let's get into this. Roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen and everything that we're talking about here today. Let's go ahead and get started. Currently $1.37 trillion for cryptocurrency market cap collectively. It is absolutely bleeding off. We are 5% down just over the last day here. And we're looking at Bitcoin coming in at $44,652.52. It is 21.39% off on the 7-day and more than 6% off on the 24-hour. Ethereum showing much the same here. We're now at $1,359.07. We're off 8.19 on the 24-hour and off over 30% on the 7-day. Looking down here at the number 7 spot where XRP sitting, courtesy of the dereliction of duty of the SEC. We are at 0.4183, 41 cents this morning and bleeding like you wouldn't believe. I don't know where this stops, but it looks like we're headed back down into that 30-cent range if we don't change gears here. We are 4.89% off on a 24-hour, and we're 24.77% off on the 7-day. Now, let's go ahead and get in and see what our range has been just over the last several hours. We are ranging between 40 cents, 0.4073, and 45 cents, 0.4560. We will watch to see if that hits a lower low. That is important to keep an eye on. Okay, let's get into this today. So I have a lot of questions for all of you out here in the audience, and you really can't know, for one, how grateful I am for each and every one of you. I do try to tell you from time to time, but I'm extremely grateful. I have a lot of questions as we move through this material today, and I'm extremely excited to see your comments underneath this video. And by the way, congratulations to all of us. We have collectively broken 80,000 subscribers on this channel, and I believe it's in a record amount of time. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Let's get into this thing. Raul Powell says, so, as it's Saturday night, I want to ask Bitcoin Twitter a question. You are generally libertarians in philosophy, right? And I am the founder of a media platform that encourage free speech. But if I book someone who is not a Bitcoiner, you are in an outrage. Huh. WTF, people? Yeah, it's really true that the early maxis in the Bitcoin space are some of the most vicious people out there. There's no question about it. But I believe this speaks to something that won't be around much longer as we move forward here. I certainly believe that after we get the confirmations of Gary Gensler, which is on Tuesday, and then we need to see the CFTC spot filled in the OCC. We know Chris Brummer has been cited as the CFTC replacement and the head chair there, and we know that Michael S. Barr, formerly of Ripple, has been tapped for the OCC to replace Brian Brooks. So we will see what happens with that. However, I do believe that once we get those positions filled, we will see a collective effort between all of those regulatory agencies to work together to really release a unified framework. That is desperately what is needed for this digital asset space, not just a ruling on one coin. I do, however, believe that the judgment for Ripple and SEC will be a huge legal precedent for how the entire space is defined from there. I really do believe that. And I do believe that, as Jeremy Hogan pointed out, and if you haven't followed his channel, Legal Briefs, I would highly suggest you hit the subscribe button and watch everything, because he has an amazing perspective on this space. He is a lawyer who gives his opinions about what he sees in the space, and it's not legal advice. But nevertheless, I do believe, as his most recent video, that we will see an early settlement, some kind of summary judgment. I do believe that the case is such a mess from both sides, actually, from both sides, to be clear, that there is room there, because it is such a mess, for the judge to really put the onus on the parties involved, and to say, as Jeremy said himself, and his father said, you guys find a solution, because if you make me do it, you're not going to like the solution that I give you. So I think that's where we're going to end up. Now, when that judgment would be, that settlement would be, it's anybody's guess, but I certainly wouldn't anticipate it, certainly until after Gary Gensler's confirmed and well in place. But we'll keep an eye on that for sure. But the question is that it is becoming more evident to me that I'm seeing more and more news and highlights and narrative from the right government officials, entities, and elites that keep talking about the hurdles that are in front of Bitcoin, the hurdles that are in front of Ethereum, and obviously we just talked about the hurdle that's in front of XRP. Right? So this gets interesting as we move to this new administration and new appointees and the confirmations, that I believe we're going to see a massive transformation of how they regulate this space collectively. Now, here's from Steve Goldbronson. Shout out to you and Joni. I hope you guys are well, my friends. MoneyGram breaking news. Rosin, a top-ranked law firm, encourages MoneyGram International investors to inquire about class action investigation. Yeah, that's right. On behalf of the share of MoneyGram holders, they're saying you probably got a case here that you could start pursuing your legal interest in your investment based on what has happened. This is the trickle-down theory. I mean, the ripple effect, if you will, pun intended. The SEC effect. This ripple effect that's going through as a shockwave has just been absolutely damaging by the SEC, and all the more reason why I believe we need to see a settlement and a legal precedent set for this case immediately, as soon as possible. All right, now looking here, Robinhood talks to pay financial penalty on the shutdowns and the stoppage of buying and trading that they did back during the GameStop push. And you know what? This is interesting too, because Robinhood intends to IPO. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can get all of these lawsuits, and whether this financial penalty with SEC or whoever else is going to weigh in on it is done, and whether it I guess inhibits the IPO from continuing the way they intend. We will watch that very, very closely. It'll also be interesting to see what is the fallout for Robinhood and apps like them. I don't believe the current status quo is really a solution make. So we're going to have to pay very close attention to what comes of that. I do believe that the SEC, we went over yesterday, released some new issuance of how they see decentralized exchanges, broker dealers. I went through all of that yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, I will put it in the drop down suggestion tab. So make sure you keep an eye out for it in this one. I'll put it towards the end. Okay, U.S. drops safe harbor demand, raising hopes for global tax deal. I covered this yesterday, and this is a big deal, and it's why I'm covering it again today. If you didn't see it, now you know. If you did see it, you should know even deeper. This is a big deal. Let me read this to you. Why is this a big deal about global tax deal? Well, because none of this crypto business is moving forward internationally unless we all have a collective agreement between all the governments of the world. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen told G20 officials that Washington had dropped the Trump administration's proposal to let some companies opt out of new global digital tax rules. U.S. and European officials said on Friday, raising hopes for an agreement by summer. New global digital tax rules. Let me get you with that one more time. New global digital tax rules. I'll hit you the way Darren Moore does at Mickey B. Fresh and slow that baby down for you. Yeah. Digital tax rules. Nearly 140 countries have set a mid-2021 deadline to wrap up talks to modernize outdated rules on how much governments can tax cross-border commerce and set a global minimum corporate tax rate after negotiations nearly ground to a halt last year due to the U.S. proposal. This is a huge change of tide right here. Think of it. If we have taxes figured out for digital tax rules globally, ladies and gentlemen, it is game on. So we're getting closer. It may not feel like it, but we're getting closer. Now let's shift gears a little bit. I get people who contact me about XDC constantly. Let's jump into this a little bit because R3 is obviously deeply tied to this. So R3 Quarter Network set to go DeFi with XDC digital currency. Let's check this out here, ladies and gentlemen. Also, keep in mind that R3 years ago was partnered with Ripple. They sued, they separated. R3 got some undisclosed amount of XRP out of that, and so on and so on. R3 has also cited that they built the Corda platform for developers to build projects and things for other companies that want to use R3 to settle digitally. Off the Corda platform is the ability to use the Corda Settler, which is a digital asset option of XRP for settlement. I would imagine as this grows, they say they would expand your options to settle with digital assets to more than just XRP. Now, with that being said, this is what's happening on another front. A group of former bankers building on R3's public Corda network are touting the first digital currency for that ecosystem, dubbed XDC. Announced Tuesday, Cordate Society, a cooperative registered in the UK, released XDC crypto token on public Corda, the open source version of R3's network. The new regulation-friendly crypto coin will open the door, says its creators, to Cordate, to various decentralized finance DeFi applications running on Corda's distributed ledger technology. R3 began life as a pay-to-join DLT consortium of big banks, which over time realized the value of hosting a large developer community and created the open-source Corda network alongside the commercial version of software. In fact, the idea of a Corda coin was floated at last year's CordaCon. I remember that. The annual developer gathering, but only as a research project at the time. Now a reality, the Cordate Society will be minting the first run of 1 million XDC to lubricate applications on Corda. This cooperative is taking advantage of the existing UK legal structures for mutual societies, a provision also used by DeFi risk mitigation platform Nexus Mutual. XDC is a digital currency in its own right, said ex-RBS banker and Cordite CEO Richard Crook. Did I just read that right? And a banker named Richard Crook? My apologies, Richard. Jesus, you can't make it up. It is issued as an exchange token to Cordite Society members, and its created will be evenly distributed among those cooperative society members. The XDC and Cordite Society announcement is timed to coincide with this year's CordaCon event. I apologize, everyone. R3 did not return requests for comment at this time. Okay. My apologies, it's hitting me this morning. Crook said membership for the newly convened Cordite Society is now open, and members will vote on the rate of supply, XDC, and other points of governance going forward. Firms participating in the Cordite Decentralized Autonomous Organization, DAO, will have compliance baked in, Crook added, since R3 designed the Corda network such that each node represents a legal entity identified by a trusted identity certificate. All right, so this ensures that the XDC meets G20 sanction FATF Financial Action Task Force standards on digital assets to deal with anti-money laundering risk, a challenge that Ethereum-based DeFi projects continue to be unable to address. Okay, so there it is. So this is all about bringing a coin onto the R3 network. That's what we're talking about. All right, so a lot of people say, it meets the requirements of most jurisdictions as digital currency and therefore is a step ahead. We are a next generation Bitcoin or XRP. This is what I hear constantly, okay? But the reality here for me is that, okay, great, you have this token. It's going to run on that platform and it can be used. I'm sorry, but where's the liquidity coming from for it? You want to phone a friend? I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be involved in. I'm considering taking a position. So I'm checking this out again. I've looked at it a while ago on my other channel, the Digital Ledger channel, and I'm just trying to get my mind around the fact of where's the liquidity coming from within this. And what is the settlement? What is the, all of the things that we know about other things like XRP and Stellar. I just start asking myself, where's the deep liquidity coming from? We shall see. I mean, it's one of those things. I'm certainly interested to learn more about this. And then I saw this as well. Zenfin community decides to burn 500 million XDC token supply. The Zenfin community decided to reduce the supply of tokens after the last major 2.1 billion, 300 million, and 200 million token burn. Okay, now I got more, like I said, I got more questions than I got answers. So if you can help me understand what that is, because that sounds like somebody's like shooting at the moon here. It's like, you're a little low, and aim higher. It's I don't know what's going on here, but obviously it's a big swing and a miss on figuring out how many they should have. And I know that these things are not always easy to figure out, but as it goes, we have more things to look at today that are not always easy to figure out. This one comes right home to XRP. Let's talk about this. So the Fed had a shutdown on its system. And this was sent to me, and I forget the gentleman's name, but thank you so much. This is Enigma Machine and XRP-1 Intel. I can't remember the gentleman sent it to me, but I really appreciate you doing that. My apologies. Shout out to you, my friend. But this is from XRP Network Status. Now, I've never checked out this site. So if any of you use this site and can tell me more about it, where it comes from, who made it, what's the metrics we're looking at here, this is not my wheelhouse per se. So I'm actually calling on all of you to help make sense of this right here, payments by currency, and it's showing an enormous number by China and USD. This is 1.99999, and it goes on for 16 nines here, and then 9.9999, and then plus 95 and plus 96 on this side. And the euro, I don't know what this really breaks down to, so I'm not trying to tell anyone what this is. I'm showing this because I need help understanding it. And I'm hoping that one of you out here, or many of you, can help bring light here. But what is interesting to me, because I can understand this chart, right, is that fees burnt. It says on February 26th, right here, you can see it spiked to over 20,000 XRP burnt in that short period of time. What? I mean, yeah, exactly. And it comes down here like Paul, shout out to Paul, Crypto Thanos asked a great question. So in theory, during that period, there were over 2 billion transactions, and he tags Joel Katz. Well, I didn't see Joel Katz's response in this, so I'm really hoping that any one of you out here can bring light to whatever this is. Look, I mean, if I know a lot about it, I'm going to tell you what it is. If I don't, I'm going to call on you to help me understand what it is. And that's exactly what this is. Look, again, just briefly, if we could just go over this just really quickly. Look, and I'm not afraid to look at the up or the downside of whatever I'm sitting in or whatever I'm considering to sit in. None of this is financial advice. But the truth is that Bitcoin's got energy consumption issues. It's got transaction time issues, right? It's got a lot of issues with it that doesn't really cut out to make a payments network solution. Ethereum has a lot of trouble in front of it. Currently proof of work looking to shift to proof of stake. We know what? Proof of work doesn't really work for payments. We know proof of stake really, in theory, looks like it's got problems a little further down the road. It's almost like kicking the can down the road a little bit, because when you do proof of stake, you're locking up the Ethereum token. And then what? You create scarcity, and you're going to get even more high congestion and gas fees for the network, which hence why I believe we see ADA and Flare networks really out here that can offer solutions to go around the problems with the Ethereum network. Who knows where that goes in the end? And then coming to the hurdle of XRP. Is it a security? Is it not a security? Can we get an answer? We don't have one. And we're sitting at the number 7 spot because we've been sued by the SEC and that's really dereliction of duty and collusion on the other end. Neither one is a good choice, but I'll let the SEC pick which one it is. All I know is that this space, you can see collectively just over the top, coins they were the top 3 at one point, right? So just over those top coins that have been in this space the longest, you can see there is a huge problem sitting in front of all of these assets. How does it shake out? I don't know. But what I do know is that we better be asking these questions internally, each and every one of us, so we can figure out how is it going to shake out? How is it going to affect my portfolio? That's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Make sure you share with somebody you know. And check out all the links in the description box. By the way, Unstoppable Domains is getting ready to kick off a massive contest, I believe it is, and a giveaway of not a contest, but a new auction of incredible domains, and they're going to be focused on like areas like whether it be I think it's like sports or gambling and things like that. There's going to be some massive .cryptos there, and by the way, they just recently resolved all their .crypto names with major search engines like Google and Firefox and Brave and websites as well. So really great stuff over there. Unstoppable Domains is really like GoDaddy on steroids. And by the way, don't forget it's tax time. Clinton Donnelly is the crypto tax fixer. Don't believe it. It's still true. He's helped save over $40 million for his clients for tax audits and all the problems they've had with crypto. So make sure you reach out to him. Link in the description box and the comment section for all of those. And they are trusted, vetted links. I'll catch you on the next one.